I did. We'll see if we got spam. Whatever. We got spam. We got spam. Let's see if we got spam. I don't know if it was bots or not. Huh? Okay, guys. Huh? First day tomorrow. First day of Silipo.
כן, אבל אנחנו היינו בכנס הספרדי, כן. They have a community there.
Shiur is generously sponsored by our dear, dear friend Bezat Sofer right here, in memory of his father-in-law. What's the name?
Moshe ben Abraham.
Moshe ben Abraham. What's his English name?
Morris.
Morris. Allah shalom. The Shema should have Aliyah.
Amen.
Yeah, sweet.
Moshe's here. Welcome, Moshe. Just in time. All right, so I have pamphlets here. Everyone can take a pack. It looks like it's time to change the toner in the printer, so it's not very good, but it's okay. And also, I brought an art scroll upstairs because a lot of these words of different types of foods, I need the art scroll to help me. So I'm going to have both here. So we're going to start on page 1. Berachot, page 38b. And I made it in red where we're reading. I'm going to read over here so I get the art scrolls in use. Ve'ala yerakot omer borei pri ha'adama. The blessing on vegetables is borei pri ha'adama. Says the Gemara. Katana yerakot tumya depat. We said in the Mishnah that the blessing on vegetables is just like the blessing on bread. Ma pat shenishtane al yedeh ha'ur. Just like bread is changed when it goes through fire. Wheat, which is mizonot, goes through fire, becomes hamotzi. So too, if I take vegetables and I cook them in fire, they should also be ha'adama. Bread becomes hamotzi. When it comes through fire, it doesn't get degraded because you put the bread in hamotzi. If anything, it gets upgraded. So if I have a vegetable that's ha'adama and I put it in fire, I cook it and I bake it or whatever, I take a tomato and I slice it, or eggplants, and I put them in the oven and I bake them. The beracha, just like bread, shouldn't be degraded to she'akol, it should stay with ha'adama. That's what the Gemara says. Amar Rabbeinu Mishimed Abaye. Rabbeinu says in the name of Abaye, Zot Omeret, this teaches us, Shilakot. Now I'm using the English from the art scroll, guys, so don't complain to me. Shilakot, Mibarachin Alehen Borpri Adama. Cooked vegetables get the beracha of ha'adama. That's what the Rabbeinu says. So, Batuah? Let's see. Mimai meditani yirakot to pot, because vegetables just like pot. Okay. Darash Rab Hista learn. Mishum Rabbeinu, in the name of Rabbeinu. Who's Rabbeinu? Umanu Rav, in the name of Rav. Shilakot mibarachin alehem borei pri ha'adama. Cooked vegetables, like Ezra says, get ha'adama. Cooked tomato is the same beracha as raw tomato. If you want to follow, we're on the red box of the Gemara. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because in the Mishnah on page 35, which I don't have here, the Mishnah says the blessing on bread is hamotzi, and the blessing on vegetables is adama. And so we make like a thing. It seems like the same thing. Just like bread, when you put wheat through fire, the beracha is hamotzi, and that doesn't go down to a she'akol because you change the wheat. So too with vegetables. And you'll see in a second why you would think so. So again, Darash Reb Hista Mishum Rabbeinu, and who is Rabbeinu Rav? Shilakot mibarachin alehem borei pri ha'adama. If you have cooked vegetables, the blessing is ha'adama. V'rabotenu hayodim me'eretz Yisrael. However, our Israeli rabbis, and who's that? Umanu Ula Mishimed Rabbi Yohanan, who lived in Israel. He moved from Babel to Israel. Amad say Shilakot mibarachin alehem she'akol hiya bidbaro. Ula, the name of Rabbi Yohanan says, if you take a tomato, you take your potato, or whatever it is, for now, we'll change it later, and you put it in the oven and bake it, it's going to become she'akol. Because the normal way for eating a vegetable is raw. If you put it in the oven and you change it, let's see. We have to build it. If you put it in the oven You're not eating it the normal way. And so it's going to become a shiakol. Now, this is what Rabbi Chisda is still talking. Ula says, Shilakot, so he says it's mahloket. The rabbis from Babel say cooked vegetables are ha'adama. The rabbis from Israel say cooked vegetables are shiakol. Rabbi Chisda says, according to Rashi, V'ani Omer, I say that they're not arguing. Sometimes the blessing is shiakol on cooked vegetables, and sometimes the blessing is ha'adama on cooked vegetables. V'ani Omer. Says Rabbi Chisda, here's how I explain the argument. Any vegetable which when it's raw is ha'adama. Isn't that every vegetable? Must be not. Any vegetable that when it's raw is ha'adama, shilakot, she'akol yavaro. If you cook it, it turns into a she'akol. Let's use tomatoes, for example. Halachically it is, but fine. Give me a vegetable. Turnips. Let's take a turnip. If you take a turnip and you bite it, what's the beracha on a turnip? So says Rabbi Chisda, if you put it into an oven or boil it or whatever, it changes into the she'akol. And kol she'tehilato she'akol ne'avaro. Ezra, you see this? Ezra. Kol she'tehilato she'akol ne'avaro. Any vegetable which is a she'akol when raw. Which vegetable is she'akol when raw?
A potato.
A potato?
It's not edible.
No.
If it's not edible, it's nothing. Shilakot in Gemara language is cooked. Rashi says shilakot. I know they use it for eggs, right? Hard-boiled eggs. But the Rashi says shilakot is cooked. So, any... No, we're not talking about potato chips and grinding. We're not talking about this. We're talking about mamash vegetable. We're not talking about this halacha. We're not talking about this halacha. Huh? Because you're changing the fruit. The fruit got a certain beracha because that was the way it was created to eat. And you're changing it. You're degrading it.
Was not created to eat.
So a potato would be no beracha. If you can't eat it, like you're saying. Olives you can't eat raw. Right? So that would have maybe no beracha because it's inedible.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms is she'akol regardless. So the Gemara is going to give us mushrooms is fungi. It's she'akol, always she'akol mushroom. Doesn't matter what you do with it. So the Gemara is going to give us some examples of veggies. No, mushrooms are she'akol. Yeah. Huh? Very good. Hold on. The Gemara is going to talk about it. Hold on one second. Ezra knows his veggies.
He's reading ahead.
Come on, it's not. Ezra, what beracha is portobello mushrooms? Yeah, always. Okay. Now, if it's a she'akol when raw, then good. If you cook it, you turn it into hadam. You're improving it by cooking it, and we'll see some examples. Says the Gemara. Yeah. Bishlema. I understand. That must be Yair. Yeah. $10 if it's not Yair.
$10.
Okay. You with me, Leon? So you heard the whole thing yet so far? Yeah? Okay. Come sit. So now the Gemara wants to know what type of veggies. Give me some examples. So the Gemara says, I understand an example of a vegetable that was she'akol when raw, and when you cook it, you improve it to adama. Mishkah hala b'karaba b'silka v'kara. Art Scroll says what? Cabbage, beets, and pumpkins. Cabbage, beets, and pumpkins is not usually eaten raw. Cabbage, beets, and pumpkins, says the Gemara. Ezra, I'm waiting for you to say no. Cabbage now, Israelis put it in the... So hold on. At least in the times of the Gemara, those were not eaten raw. There was no shawarma station where they add all these things. So the Gemara says, at least in those days, there was shakol. You take a cabbage, you make a bite of shakol because it's not usually eaten raw. And so if I make the cabbage in the oven, or the pumpkin, or the beets, and I boil the beets in water, which is what they do to make it soft, that's going to become a ha'adama. So I understand this part of the rule. What about the other part of the rule? What's a ha'adama? That when you cook it, it becomes a shakol. And don't worry, guys, we're going to have halacha l'maaseh at the end, as always. Give me an example of something that was ha'adama, and when I put it in the oven, it turns into a shakol. Says the Gemara. I love sweet potatoes. We were supposed to have that tonight. Amar Rahman Bar Yitzhak, Mishkahala betumi bechalti. Ezra Levi. Garlic and leek. Garlic and leek, says the Gemara, which are generally eaten specifically raw. Garlic and leek, which are eaten raw, the ha'adama belongs raw. And if you cook the garlic, you turn it into shakol. Says Tosafot. I didn't make it in red. But says Tosafot. What? Look, does you see the big Tosafot? Mishkahala, read it with me. Mishkahala betumi on the right side. Tumi v'chati, garlic and leek, says Tosafot. Yim tomad, you say to me. Everyone can see. Mishabihan. That cooked garlic and leeks is delicious. It's better than raw garlic and leeks. What are you talking about? Says Tosafot, Yesh lomad, Dahainu b'shvila basar ve'amelach shebetocha. No. Garlic and leek becomes delicious because you make it in a dish. But if you just have only garlic, like imagine no olive oil, only garlic, it's better raw than cooked. Garlic is something good when you mix it with meat and other things. And so, and it says Tosafot further, V'nen'ina devarim, it appears the halacha, shekol davar shu kol kach tov mebushal kemo hai. Anything that is just as good raw as it is cooked. It's the same. It's delicious both ways. An example, tomatoes. I know he says tomatoes not a vegetable, but tomatoes are delicious raw, and they're delicious. I love tomatoes in the oven. They're so good, right? So he says, it says if it's just as good either way, like beans, for example, are good both ways. And apples, which are delicious also in the oven. Beans, black beans and burritos and stuff. No. Really? The canned beans are good?
Canned beans.
I don't know. Yeah, really? Okay.
But green peas you could have.
Green beans.
So maybe kidney, I don't know what he means, but what about fava? No, I bought a snack for my kids. It's like crunchy fava beans. You think that was baked?
You can eat raw garbanzos like out of the
What thing?
I don't know. Kidney. I don't know which one he's talking about.
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, garbanzo. They have garbanzo salad. Okay, let's go forward.
Sweet green shredding peas. But they're beans.
Peas.
And fava beans you can also do. Oh, you're good.
And
by the way, we learned from here that Tosafot was for sure Sephardic. He understood some taste and stuff.
I just don't understand why.
Because you're degrading it from the way it was made. Hold on.
They're upgrading it certain time.
Well, that's the question. Are you upgrading or are you ruining it? That's the question.
Why change?
But this is in essence the question, Yossi. Are you ruining the food and degrading it? You're saying, thank you, Hashem, for making ha'adama. Hashem says, you're not eating it the way I meant to eat it. You're making it into a shakol.
It's all rabbinical.
It's all rabbinical. The question is, what do you do? You should be shakol.
like orange versus orange.
Yeah, orange juice is not the way, exactly. It's not the way I made it. It's delicious.
Not in the,
you make shakol. You want to use boreh peri ha'adama, eat it the way I created it.
Yeah, same thing. You can say shechianu on something that was grafted. It's grafted. You can't say it's not the way it was.
Changed the form of its original.
Which is great, but now it's man-made. In other words, it's like the whole snack aisle, shakol.
I get it.
So says Tosafot, kitniyot and tapuhim, which are eaten both ways. Yesh lahem beracha rishona. They have the same blessing ha'adama before both of them. So Tosafot says you don't have to choose one way. Something can be both. It can be delicious both ways, which I think is a lot of vegetables. Eggplant, you can't eat eggplant raw. It's so rubbery. So right, mexi. Kusa mexi. So kusa, you can eat raw. I don't know. I never eat kusa raw.
I would actually say that most vegetables are not as most vegetables that are cooked are not
Better.
as delicious. Not cooked.
They're better cooked. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, but you're also then adding spices.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't.
You're changing the
bite
flavor of
into
it.
an excellent
Some people prefer raw carrots.
zucchini raw is okay.
Very good.
Some
So
people prefer raw celery to cook celery.
so there's two.
You can add it. Celery is a different type of.
There's one vegetable that I have in mind specifically. Moshe.
Eggplant.
Yeah, you can eat zucchini.
Moshe, there's one veggie I have specifically in mind. Well, I'm not going to say it. I'll wait for someone else to say it. But let's hold on. That this really affects his halacha. But hold on. We'll bring it at the end. Unless someone else says it first.
When you cook it,
Hold on.
okay.
So says Tosafot, shekol kach shavim uvashalim k'mo hayim, because all these veggies are the same. They're delicious both ways. Mitam zeh mevarchin nami ala yain. Listen to this Tosafot. Chacham talks about this in his sefer in on Israel. Mitam zeh. That's why. What's better, yain mivushal or yain that's not mivushal? Not mivushal is better. So this is Tosafot. When you cook the wine, you're ruining the wine. Maybe it should turn into she'akol. This is a fourth. The same reason. Yain mivushal. It's still good. It's still good, but it's not as good, but it doesn't matter. It's good.
That's why cognac is shahakol.
Cognac is what? What is it made from? Potatoes?
So it's from grapes.
It comes from a grape product, but it's not the
That's
actual.
shahakol.
It's a
What
byproduct.
about cucumbers? If you make pickles?
Good. Pickles is called cooking in this halacha,
Pickles are shekel.
but no, because you would say, well, cucumbers are delicious raw, and it's also delicious cooked.
So bell peppers also. Bell peppers are good.
Peppers also, but I have one in mind that
It's not it.
I'll tell you.
Onions.
And that's why this is what it says. Wine, yain mivushal, is the same halacha both ways. Onions is a good one, by the way. And the gemara, onions, who eats onions raw?
Persians.
There's raw
Yeah.
onions.
Right, but I'm saying
Every
that,
Persian restaurant you go to, they'll give you a raw
I
onion.
want to address what Ezra HaKohen is saying over here, guys. Ezra HaKohen is saying, what about raw onions in a salad? Moshe, raw onions in a salad. Guys, remember this, Liron, this is very important. We're talking now about when you eat the vegetable alone, because if it's mixed up, then already it's tough there. So you have to find an example of something we eat alone. Anybody ever take an onion slice and crunch it alone?
Yes.
He said Persian.
No, you go to every Persian restaurant, they give you an onion. Well, you
Raw,
never been to a Persian
Just like
restaurant?
that, not in a burger.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Don't judge.
you think more?
It's good. It's healthy. There's no question.
The question is, do you think
You
more?
can handle it. You can handle it.
Okay, listen. Says Tosafot, ukra, vesilka, v'chirub. These three examples the Gemara brought, which it says in the art scroll, is cabbage, pumpkin, and beets. V'cheotze bahen, shetovin yoter mevushalim mechayim. They're much better cooked than raw. Kishen hayim berachim l'shakol. So if you take a beet and you eat it raw, or cabbage in those days, maybe it changed. It's gonna be shakol. Love beets. It's gonna be shakol. If you cook it, it's adama because it's more delicious.
No, so- but it seems like the rule is
Not. It depends on the fruit. It depends on the vegetable.
No, I bet I understand. But it said that the rule is like this percent be like that.
Yeah.
So
The question
if
is-
the vegetable came out of the Adama and you're able to eat it just like it is from the Adama, even if it's more delicious.
But Moshe, don't forget about wheat. This all comes from wheat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made wheat with the intention that we will do something to it to make it better.
So wheat is the category.
No, but we're learning from wheat. That's how we started this whole conversation. So too, maybe Hashem made a vegetable called a beet, knowing, guys, you have to put the vegetable in water and boil it. That's part of the beet process.
Yeah, I don't eat raw rice.
Rice is a whole nother question. What rice even is? I don't think so. And so that's what the Zafot brings nuts at the end. Nuts keep their beracha. The Zafot says rice is mizonot. Yeah, it's mizonot, but it's put in kashor at the end. It's a middle ground. Ores. Now let's finish this with Zafot, guys. Says the Zafot. I don't know what this word means. If anybody knows, let me know.
At some point.
V'chen otan armoniot. Oh, chestnuts. You got it? Armoniot is chestnuts. Armoniot the habushim. Quince. It's like a little apple, no?
No. Quince,
It's like
no,
a big
it's like an apple.
It's big and heavy and.
Mr. Davidson has a quince tree, man.
Yeah.
His wife
I'm
gave me
telling you, I
seeds.
know what it is. It's a
Quince
big
are
apple.
very-
Egyptians, they make it for Rosh Hashanah. They make jam out of it.
Persians also-
She'enan, listen to this. She'enan re'uyin le'ochlan hayin. You cannot eat
Can't.
chestnuts, and you cannot eat chestnuts roasted on an open flame, right? You can't eat them raw. That's the first thing you think of, right? You can't eat them raw, and you can't eat a quince raw. Okay. Then, but tehila bezad, tehila mebarachin alehem shakol. Then you're gonna make shakol if you eat it raw.
Oh, really?
Because it's not good, as good raw as it is. Okay. And at the end, we're going to move on here. Because the rowdy crowd. At the end, no, persimmon is like a tomato. I think this is more like an apple.
It looks like an apple.
Okay, guys, we're going further. We have the whole crowd. Everybody's with us? What are they talking about? What's the whole...
Give me the seeds, probably for your sore throat.
She gave me the seeds. It's a whole remedy.
Yeah, for the sore throat.
Yeah.
Maximum. Get
Person.
a gavel.
I need like a big
A
wooden...
gavel for order the word.
Now look at Ashi, guys. I put it in red, but Ashi says very clearly the ramifications of this discussion. It says Ashi, it's not so clear here, but let's read it together. Kol yerek, it's on the left side in the red box. Kol yerek hane'echal hai shetihilato bore pri ha'adama. Any vegetable that's eaten raw. Let's use a carrot or a cucumber, which is delicious raw. It's ha'adama. Shilaku, when you cook it. Afke Mimilte the griuta. You're taking it out of its normal state, the griuta, for the worse. And now you make shakol if you cook it. But we're going to have to get the rules to halacha l'maaseh. But so far. And later we say we're talking about specific fruits. Okay. Garlic and leek. And the next one. Any vegetable that you don't eat normally raw. Let's use the quince as an example. If you eat it raw, it's going to be shakol. When you cook it, and now you bring, see Moshe, these are the words you're looking for, Moshe Salem. She says, by cooking it, you bring it to the way it's supposed to be eaten. A potato is a good example. Pumpkin, again, malabra. Who ikan penya? It's so hard to read this. That's the main purpose of this fruit. So now, I want to bring you one story, and then we'll do the halacha. Turn the page.
They said that the gemara take it from you take the wheat. The wheat came from the Adama. We made something out of it. We made a different beracha. But here you take a picture that came out of that, and you say, well, actually, it's not as nice the way it is, so I'm going to call it shakol.
But it's not meant to be eaten this way. Just like the wheat kernel.
But if a Kadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you from the Adama, it was meant to be.
No. You can't eat.
You can't eat potato?
Can't eat some things raw.
You eat a potato? Raw?
Every fruit, Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives fruit. Yes, fruit is snacks. Absolutely, it's ready to go. Vegetables? No.
But he said something. He said something else. He's still gonna say to do.
We're gonna figure how the.
Still gonna be Adama.
Let's see.
If you want to eat queens uncooked, say, well, it came from the Adama.
It's not.
You can eat it,
It's not in
but
the
it's
state.
not as delicious, so it's not Adama anymore.
It's not the way you're supposed to eat this fruit. It's not
But
the.
I mean, these are not God-made laws. These are man-made laws. I mean, man-made brachot.
Right. So it's us going and saying,
going in
I
and
know, but
saying,
I'm trying to understand that.
I want to
the
bless
logic of
Hashem.
Chachamim. I don't get the logic of the Chachamim.
Would you take a piece of wheat and make hamotzi on it? No.
It makes sense.
Why does that make sense, but the other one doesn't make sense?
what the bottle left?
If
Wheat is
it
not
comes
left.
from the Adama,
True.
and I changed it into something else, then it's okay to attach to it a different beracha. But if it comes from the Adama, will I give it a different beracha just because it wasn't meant to be?
But you're not. But you're thanking Hashem for creating this wonderful, delicious quince, and you're not eating it in the way that a quince is supposed to be eaten. Let's see what Bezat
So
says.
the Mishnah is saying that you take wheat, you make bread, you go from Adama to Motzi, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then it tags along and says that on the vegetable, if you go from not edible to edible, you go from charcoal to Hadama. That's it, right?
Correct.
Now the question, the way you gotta look at it is, why is it that the Mishnah, not the Gemara, but the Mishnah is
Equating?
that's putting these two together? What's there to learn from this example, right?
Right.
If A equals B, then C
But
equals
Bezat, I
D.
think it's logical also.
No,
logical
I'm not saying it's
also.
not logical. I'm saying there's something to be driven out
100%.
from it. That's why it's put next to each other.
I think
Correct.
that's
What do you learn?
So you learn from
I
it.
think it's logical.
That
You want to thank
If you're
Hashem.
elevating something, you go upward on the broccoli. So if you're elevating the vegetable, you're going upward on its broccoli. It has to be a trajectory.
All
that's
right.
the same.
So, but my logic would say, anyway, I don't.
Moshe, you think-
my logic would say that if the queens came as
Adama.
actually it's queens
Yes.
from the tree,
That's right.
but
Yes.
or whatever, something came as bore priya and I elevated it just like the wheat. I would give it a different bracha, like just like I did a motzi lechem min haaretz. I would say המשבח פירות ומיטיבן, whatever. But it came originally from the Adama. Then give it the original. Don't tell me just because it's not as delicious, I don't want to give it Adama anymore.
Right, but then
It is
again,
free
don't.
Adama.
But Moshe, don't.
That's what bothers me.
But don't forget what Yossi said. This is all rabbinical. Hashem didn't tell you to bless.
I'm trying to understand.
So the
what
rabbis,
I mean.
right? So the rabbis are saying, I want you to bless when you have this fruit. So if you take the grapes and you make vinegar out of it, you're gonna make geffen on it? No, because it's not what you're supposed to really enjoy the grapes this way.
Fine, but
But Tatashinita, no, you change
You made it worse.
You change it completely. So it's not
Really,
great.
I understand what you're saying, but
if you take the wheat which came from the Adama, you made it into bread, you said, okay, I'm going to give it a different bracha. If you take a vegetable from the Adama that was not supposed to be onion, was not supposed to be eaten that way, you now improved it, okay, give it a different bracha if you follow the same logic. But don't tell me before that it was a whole and now
the chidush over here is now you're earning the beracha that was created for. That's what Rashi says.
You're eating it in the form that it's supposed to be.
So then you're looking at this is the rule. It came from
Bezat,
Adama
let's try
to
this.
Adama.
Everything is shehakol.
Yeah, I understand.
How do you
I
elevate it to
understand,
Hadam?
I just don't understand the parallel, the logic. Basically, the Chachamim says the following. Yes, it came from the Adama, but unless it's in an eatable position, we haven't gotten to the level that it's called Adama yet. Once we improve it, now we call it.
Right, otherwise it'll be like everything else, shehakol.
You make a bracha, but I mean the truth is,
I just don't understand why.
the idea is to make a bracha on something that you enjoy. So you're not going to enjoy a potato that's raw. So the idea of making a bracha is you want to thank Hashem for giving this to you. So if that's the point of the bracha,
It's also the
then,
same
then
thing.
you do it, you make it for the fruit or the vegetable in the form that you're going to enjoy.
Agree with this. Also, the same thing is derech achila. If I take it and I put derech achila, see, it's the same way. If I put it in an IV in my body, I don't make shehakol because it's not the way Hashem told you to eat it. Hashem created to go through the mouth. You change and you divert.
But that applies for everything.
Across the board, it's the same
But
idea.
Here you have,
There's the
here
rabbi.
you have a unique situation. It's fine. I understand what you're saying. I
You don't
understand
like- you don't
what
like
you're saying. I'm not getting why it should be that. That logic doesn't make sense. Understand what they're saying?
Reza,
The
you can help
logic
or no?
doesn't make sense.
You agree with him?
Definitely. He created. It's coming from the dirt. Madama. Why you change it? I understand. Maybe I have an idea. I think what they're trying to say also is Mr. President saying it's to appreciate the appreciation.
Now we have something.
Appreciation.
Sleepy.
Yeah, I'm very sleepy today. I got jet lag.
I think it's
Sleepy
I
Joe.
think it's you go. If you take a step back, you're building up. The first step is if it comes from a tree, it's ha'etz. If it comes from the ground, it's adama. If it's a milk from a cow, it's shackle. That's the first step. And then now you're going to okay.
Let me
2.1.
understand it.
The next step of it is
You hurt.
No,
what
but also
And you change it.
if you eat the bark of the tree, are you gonna say ha'adama on the tree, on the ha'etz on the bark? You gotta. The rabbis are saying there's a derech achilah. You can't just say thank you Hashem for the wonderful tree. It's so delicious, the bark of the tree. I'm glad you're enjoying it, but that's not.
I once heard Rabbi Galamidi in Miami explain brachot in a very nice way. Right? You're not only appreciating the fruit for where it came from, you're also thanking Hashem for giving you the ability to eat it. Meaning, not everybody can eat. You're in a hospital. Not everybody has the ability to eat. So when you're making the bracha,
Yeah, but that applies for everything. I don't have a problem with making bracha. I have a problem.
I know, but the rabbis are saying
right,
there's a
but you're doing it in the way.
There's a derech achilah. There's a way you eat it through the mouth. There's a what you eat, and you ruin the
I
food.
mean, look, the fact of the matter that the rabbis themselves argue and the support says no, but it's actually as delicious, even if the eating is megushat. It seems like that they created a scale that doesn't.
Because I think there's one thing that you really have to appreciate. You have to earn a special beracha. Most things are shehakol minyan baro. You want to earn a mizonot? It's like,
That's what I'm
you know how important it is? You have to earn a special beracha. It's very special to like have your own beracha ha'adama. It should just be shehakol. The whole
So if you eat a piece of wheat, stuff like
ha'adama raw.
There is a
raw
lot of
Ha'adama.
wheat,
Yeah. Raw wheat
why?
is
Because it's not meant.
There's a huge
that way.
question about granola bars.
But it's not meant to be eaten that way.
Exactly. Well,
So it should
no,
be
because
shehakol.
wheat has 3 levels. Some people say that.
It's a little bit inconsistent.
No, there is.
It's a little inconsistent.
Plus, they're taking it from the left hand, and we learn many times. Left hand is a category.
It's
100%.
There's the whole thing about
Not only lechem, but wheat is a category. Wheat is a category. The hadama, the mizonot. Wheat could be like a bunch of different berachot. It's a whole nother category.
what would be soup?
Mizonot.
Not shackle.
No.
Soup? It's mostly water.
Because the wheat is more hashuv. The
Soup for
wheat,
what?
the marak is tafel to the wheat. The wheat is the ikar.
So hadama.
No, mizonot. Because it's not raw.
Wait, but I missed it.
So now you went higher?
What is the
Yeah.
mizonot?
Wheat is a whole nother category. We can jump levels. Wheat is different. We'll do wheat.
Okay.
Wheat is another thing. But Moshe, there's a concept here. You have to earn your blessing. You can't just say, take it for granted, you're Adama. You can't do it.
The shape change.
Okay, guys, let's I know you're not gonna like it. Let's do a story here. And then I want to do halacha. We might have to do halacha ma'asen next week. Let's see how much stamina we have. Listen to this story, and the ending of the story is a little wacko. Sorry, but it's a gemara story. So what do you expect?
Or his jet.
So turn to 39a. Not fasten, but it's interesting. Okay, here's a story. The Gemara. By the way, in this space that I skipped over, the Gemara is going back and forth. A lot of people are disagreeing and saying, "Nah, still ha'adama. Nah, she'akol." It's a whole machloket back and forth, like you're saying. But halacha ma'aseh is going to follow the idea that we just presented mostly. Let's see the story, and it's very blurry. So let's wish me luck. Ne'ama kitnai. Let us say that the machloket over this situation, whether a cooked vegetable is ha'adama or she'akol, is just like another argument that we saw in a story. We're on page 3. There's no page number after page 2. It's lamed tet, Moshe. Lamed tet and moral. And in the red circle, in red square, right on top. Ne'ema kitnai. In the middle of the line. Lamed tet. Habibi, lema kitnai. You see it? You see lema kitnai or no? It's in the middle of the line in the red rectangle. The first line in the middle of the sentence. Lema kitnai. Let us. This is the story, guys. There were two students. They were sitting in front of Rab Kapra. Two students and the Rebbe, and they're going to eat lunch. I'm going to translate this with the article so I get it right. Keruv, dur miskin, and pargiot. They brought three things. Keruv, dur miskin, and pargiot. Rashi says, if you look on the top, dur miskin. I'll tell you in 1 second. Let's see what article says. Keruv is first. Cabbage, right? Keruv, they use cabbage, I think, over here. Let's see. Keruv is cabbage. Now, what's dur miskin? Rashi says, Avhen, it's in the top wide line of Rashi. Avhen shilakuach, it's a cooked vegetable. Me'asir, from a herb. Shikorin aktalishnu. Bilaz, in French. Kach ra'iti befirush. Babakama. Abalkan piresh, prunes. Some people say it's prunes. See this? See Rashi? Yeah. Prunes is prunes. In the article, what does it say? It says, dun maskin is an herb called, oh boy, Orache, O-R-A-C-H-E. A mountain spinach. It's a mountain spinach. O-R-A-C-H-E, which is a mountain spinach. That's what Rashi is saying. When Rashi says it's aktalishta. O-R-A-C-H-E. Orache. Uncle Jack, have you heard of that? Orish. And the second opinion would be prunes, or Rashi says he doesn't like the prunes idea. So we're going to go with the mountain spinach. Or if you tell me how to pronounce it, I'll be happy to pronounce it the right way. Or Orish. See it? How do you? C-H-E. Yeah, that's it. Does it say how to pronounce it? It's a we'll call it spinach, yeah? We're going to call it spinach. So they bring cabbage, spinach, and pargiot. What's pargiot? Says Rashi. Let's see what Rashi. No, it's thighs. It's thighs. No, these days pargiot is thighs. But let's see what Rashi says. Rashi says pargiot basar of shikorin paradria. Is that what Rashi says here? Rashi says it's paradria, and then let's see what it says over here. Partridge meat. It says. I don't know what that is either. Partridge chicken. Partridge. Let's go with pargiot that we have now. Works. Chicken thighs. Okay, guys. So you have two students and the rabbi, and they're sitting down to eat lunch, and they have the three dishes in front of them. Natan bar kapra reshut le'achat mehen lebarech. He says, "Faddal, boys, you kavod, you make the beracha for everybody." The rabbi gives permission to one of the students. Now pressure's on the student. Which one does he take first? Kafatz, he jumps. Uberech al hapargiot, and he grabs the pargiot and he takes. She'akon yavaro.
By the way, I was right.
Oh, not yet. Yeah, you with me, guys? What happens here? Let's not get lost in this detail.
Right. Continue. Yeah.
He takes the pargiot and he makes the blessing. Ligleg alav habero. His buddy starts laughing. Ah, you idiot. What did you take the pargiot for first? You should have taken the cabbage first. What did you make the beracha on the pargiot? What are you, an idiot? What did you make the beracha on the pargiot?
You finished everything.
Ligleg alav. He's making fun of him. Not that you finished it. You chose the wrong food to start. You should have chose the vegetables to start. What are you choosing the chicken?
And then the bechamel, which was that's the point.
To have the better one, the more hashub beracha. So you have two kids here. Ka'as bar kapra. The rabbi gets upset. Bar kapra gets angry. Amar, lo ala mebarech ani ko'es. He says, boys, you see how angry I am? I'm not angry on the student that made the beracha on the pargiot. Ela ala melagleg ani ko'es. I'm angry at the student who's making fun of the other guy. What kind of thing is this? You make fun of someone because you think he doesn't know the halacha. Ah, he chose the chicken first. He should have chose the cabbage first. I'm upset at you for mocking your friend. Maybe it seems to you like your friend over here, he never had chicken in his life. And he sees chicken and he's like, wow, I gotta have this chicken. It's so exciting. I want chicken so badly. So he chose it first. Then what are you complaining about him? He's very excited for chicken. He loves chicken. He never has a chance to eat pargiyot.
Well, what if it is the case where it is something that
very good.
And they should say Shechianu on it. Should they say that first?
That's mahloket. It could be either first or second, but that's not going to affect the choice of which dish you chose first. The question is, which dish should you choose first?
If it's something you never had before and you should say
Shechianu, you got to say anyway. But I don't think Shechianu would make it go first. If I never had a root beer, I don't think that's going to make me have the root beer before the giffen, before the grape, let's say. Hazar ve'amad. So this is what happens. You got the story so far? And then after he yells at the second guy, now Hazar ve'amad, and then he says, guys, you see how angry I am? I'm not angry at the kid who made fun of the other one. I'm also angry at you, the kid who chose the pargiyot. I'm angry at both of you, the kid who chose the pargiyot. And he says, if I'm not a wise man, you think I'm not a hacham. Maybe you think I'm not a hacham, but you don't ask me what to do. You just did it yourself. You don't think I'm a hacham? Fine. I'm not an old man. I'm not an elderly man that you could have asked, hey.
So both cases he was mad at them for their eretz. One for not paying respect to his friend, and one for not paying respect to his Rav.
Yes. Tana, now you get your part. Ushnehem lo hotziu shinatan. They both didn't last the year. They both died within the year.
Over chicken.
over pargiyot. Now the Ben Ish Chai has a couple of things. Maybe we'll stop after the story, and next week halacha l'maaseh. Can we do that?
Can we just finish the story first?
The story. So hold on. The story is over right now. The gemara has a commentary. The Ben Ish Chai says in this story, first of all, what does it mean kafatu berech? He jumps and he blesses in the cup. It's a weird way to say it. If anything, kafat usually means you went out of line. But the rabbi gave you permission. It's not kafatu berech. The rabbi said, that's not called kafatu berech. So it says the Ben Ish Chai, kafas uberech means he reached past all the vegetables were here and the chicken was at the end of the table. He literally went over them and grabbed the chickens, passing by the vegetables completely. That's kafat uberech. So he didn't have an excuse. No, it was right in front of me. No, you dafka went for the chicken, which is in the back row. That's how much you love. You want the chicken so badly. And the Ben Ish Chai says, what does it mean when he says, I'm not mad at him, I'm mad at you. And then he says, I'm not mad at you, I'm mad at him. Just say, I'm mad at both of you. I'm mad at you, and I'm mad at you. Says the Ben Ish Chai a lesson here. Sometimes when you give, what's it called? Rebuke to two of your kids, or two students at one time, they think to themselves, Dad's mad at both of us. He's just mad. If it was only me that did it, nothing would happen. If it was only him that did it, nothing would happen. Oh, because it's both of us. He says, I want you to know I'm so angry at you. Nothing, even if he didn't do what he did, I'm angry at you. And then he turns to the other one. I'm so angry at you. Nothing to do with him.
Why is he
right now?
It's not a multi-ethnic knowledge. Each one has to do their own beracha.
Very good. Yes, a fantastic question. Again.
No, I said it's not like chava the motzi. Each person has to do their own individual.
You like his question? So the Mefashim discuss: was this a bread meal? How is one guy doing the beracha for everybody? Maybe it was a bread meal. Oh, whole question they asked. Very good. That's the whole question about. Regardless, he told them one of the guys to make the beracha for everybody. Maybe it was a bread meal. Maybe it wasn't.
Brother, with that, can I ask him?
Okay.
No, it could be also some sort of ceremonial, like we do Kiddushim on Shabbat.
But it had to be koveh.
And Mr. Eli goes,
right.
And then we do our own.
Right, but remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we said you have to actually be sitting and make koveh seudah to be included. So the whole she'elah, how are these guys koveh seudah? Whatever. That's a good question. Very good. Yeah. Very good. So that's what he told the first guy. Maybe the guy loves chicken. It's not your place to make fun of him. And then he turns to the other guy and he yells at him too. Very good. We'll talk about this one second. Oh, that's a rabbi from the Kollel. He wants to come and talk to you guys for a second. The pitch is, yeah. I don't have my keys on. Hold on a second.
Does he have a sticky towel?
Should we finish next week, guys?
Sure.
Yeah? Want to finish? You want to do it now or next week?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Says the Gemara. Let's finish the story.
Come in a few hours here.
Says the
No,
Gemara.
everybody, 5:30 mandatory, please.
Okay, says the Gemara.
Presley hot.
Here we go. Hilchach Habib. My love. Rabotai. Order in the court. My love. What were these two students arguing about? Why did the first student choose the Padgiyot? And why did the second student think he was an idiot? Must be what? Says the Gemara. The Mibarech Savar, the kid who took the Padgiyot, he held Shilakot to Padgiyot She'akon Mibarot. They're both the same halacha because the vegetables cooked on the table. Spinach is cooked, and a cooked spinach is She'akol. And so I have Padgiyot She'akol. Spinach is She'akol. It's the same beracha. I get to choose what I want. Must be. That's what the Mibarech held. And Hilchach Habib Adif. Umelagleg Sabar. The kid who made fun of him must have held Shilakot or Periya Adama. I don't care if the spinach is cooked. It's still Ha'adama, and Ha'adama is above She'akol. What are you doing choosing Padgiyot? They had a mahloket, the same mahloket as our Gemara. Says the Gemara, Hilchach Tira Adif Lo. You don't have to say this. The Kula Ama, but come. The Kula Ama Shilakot to Padgiyot She'akol Ni'avarot. Must be, no, you can say, really both of them held the cooked spinach, the cabbage, and what was the other vegetable? The spinach, the cooked, the cabbage, and the Padgiyot really were all She'akol. They held a different sevara. Marsa about Habib Adif. One guy holds, it doesn't matter which, but you have to go by what you like better. You want Padgiyot, it goes first. Omar Sabat Kerub Adif. The other student said cabbage, not closer, cabbage is a very special food. Cabbage should go first. The Zayan, because cabbage, the Gemara says in other places, is something that sustains you. It's much more nutritious and filling, and it sustains you. You should have chosen the cabbage, or you could say that the bench high, you pass over the cabbage and you reach over the Padgiyot. And so therefore, the Gemara says over here, we're holding now that the blessing on cooked vegetables is going to be She'akol, as long as you could eat it raw. If you eat it raw and it's Adama, you cook it She'akol. Next week you have to come back because we have to refine the halacha ma'aseh and talk about exactly which vegetables, when cooked, will be She'akol. And are there vegetables when eaten raw that be She'akol? We have to do that next week, and we have one to support next week. And now we're going to hear from. The Dej of Shak is mahloket. It's either She'akol or Adamat, because that's what Ezra was talking about. You're changing the surah. That's the classic Bamba question. It's a huge question because they're changing the form of it